What's up, what's up, what's up? And we're starting this thing, Aesthetic Businesses Podcast. What's up, what's up? It's Marques with Aesthetic Business with Mike Mendez. What's up, bro?
Good, man. A little tired. I've been I think this is a good topic for what we're talking today. And the reason why I'm exhausted is because I'm sprinting a marathon in a sense. And something that you spoke about last week, I think really stuck out to me the most, which was stealing time. And like I said, reading a couple books, you even put me on like Blinkist to even read a book faster.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Blinkist. That is my shit right there,
Right.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like that's kind of the idea of getting stuff faster, kind of getting here. Like I'm in a hurry to get where I need to be for the next step. But I'm doing so many things that it's taking away all my time. So I really would like to just for you to just break it down what you mean by stealing time.
Okay. Stealing time, chasing time, man. It's like I keep telling people we can't create it. You cannot create time. So every time I hear somebody say they're too busy or they can't do something, it's mostly bullshit, And it's the fact they don't want to get up earlier. So we have 24 hours in a day, right? There'd probably be some times if you're trying to start off your business or you're trying to start off something, you're going to be burning off fumes, especially if you're working on a 9 to 5 already. You can go ahead and expect, and this is what I mean. This is what I did, for example, when I was in the military. Any little chance that I had, any even blink of a window, I took advantage of that, right? So there was a lot for me. I had to get up at 4 already for military stuff, right? So getting up early, it wasn't even an option for me because there was just no way, like realistically, right? And then on top of that, my only option was to stay up late, right? I was going off of, I say when I returned from 2013, for about 3 years, 4 years, I was going off of 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep, like off top, you know what I mean? Cause that was the only time, the window I had to work on CTN stuff, to really answer clients, writing programs, doing all that. I could have totally went to sleep. I could have totally just, said, fuck it. I don't have time and all that. But that's what I mean by that. You got to chase it. You got to steal it. You got to make it work. I'm not even going to get into what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's the thing, it's when we're talking about being entrepreneurs and those type of things, the word tired and exhausted are synonymous with this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, go ahead.
Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say, so, we're talking about the tiredness and one of those things that come with it. I mean, it is a fitness and a mental issue as well if you're not getting enough sleep, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so going to that, what are some of those things that you look at it sitting there saying, okay, look, like you got 3 hours. What are some of the ways that maybe like you can do to help you keep you focused or keep you on track?
Man, I mean, one of my old partners, man, he used to be a real good friend of mine. He told me this one thing one time, and I used to be stressed out all the time about this whole time thing. He's like, man, let your passion be your guide, right? Your passion is going to get you up in the morning. Your passion is going to make you chase it, right? Your passion is going to make you stay focused and do everything you want to do, right? And damn it, wasn't he right? Because damn, passion makes you fight for things. Passion makes you like do the extra when you're burnt out. You know what I mean? Passion makes you find that window, the opportunities of time to get things done. It's when you're forced to do things is when you start to dwindle your product. When it feels like it's not worth it, or when you start to, does that make any sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, like it's like a hope and a wish are just only so much. Yeah. And passion is only so much too as well. And then, like I tell myself in the morning, there's sometimes where like my alarm goes off and I wake up and I'm there. There's a lot of times where I have to sit there and say, I have a goal and I have a dream and I get up because I just believe in those 3 things. Mm-hmm. You have a goal, you have a dream, but you got action next. And if you
got to put things into action, right? You just can't just be like, oh, I'm manifesting with no action, right? I'm hoping for this opportunity. Opportunities comes all the time, but there's no action behind it, right? So I think that's a really good point, man. And when it just comes to just making things happen and things like that, you know what I mean? But I do think that when it comes to, like, for me with fitness and stuff like that, I have to get my wins for the day, right? And I tell my clients this, get your fucking wins for the day. And this is what I mean by that. Go to the gym, eat your food, right? And then get some sleep. Those are the only three things you really can control in your bubble, in your life, right? Because it's all about you. You're taking care of you, right? And then everything else you have no control of. No husband, no wife, no kids, right? Teachers or whatever. You have to take on the world after that and juggle everything. But if you're solid, right, it gives you that extra boost and that confidence, like, okay, yeah, I'm doing me and I can still keep going and do other things. You're not capped out. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I mean, and when you're going to other things that you can't, like, if you, like you said, you got a 9 to 5. I have pretty much, like, I don't know, maybe a 9 to 6, maybe 9 to 7 at times. And you don't really have those things, right? Like, I have to work on it. And so some of the things that I do, have you heard of the Pomodoro?
No.
So it's like, it's an app. It's a kind of way to stay focused. So you do 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and you repeat that cycle 4 times. That would be 2 hours. And then you take a 30-minute break. And for me, the reason why I like that is the same reason like what we were talking about earlier is if I know I have 25 minutes to get as much as I can done, I can't be on my phone. I can't bullet. Like you know what I mean? It just allows me. And these are coming over the books that I read over recently too, the 5-hour work day, or the 4-hour work week, and those type of things of setting a time limit. And okay, I got 25 minutes, and then 5 minutes later I can go walk up, do all those things. Is there anything you're using, any kind of apps, any kind of like timer or anything like that?
This is what I have. I have those big old boards right there, right? I have to write things down, right? I have to write things down for it to stick. I'm one of those type of people. I'm so analog, right? If I put in an app, that's not how I like program to remember things. So me, I write things down like, hey, okay, I wake up at 4:30, right? I'm in the gym by this time. I want to be done by emails with some emails because I do answer emails and put them on a timer, right? That's another trick I do. I put things on a timer and then it will just be released. So I'll be another wave of emails I'm catching. You know what I mean? So what I do is I'll answer emails, right? About time those emails are shot out, I'm already at the trampoline park. You know what I'm saying? They're already done. It's the trampoline park, opens at 10 o'clock. So little man can get his run in, right? I'm already, by that time, everything's mostly already answered or on a timer for like noon or something like that. And then I can handle something else. I have it locked down like that, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some of the things I've read, like the one thing, they talk about a lot of, blocking. So time blocking, right? So you sit there and say, okay, from 12 to 2, I'm going to do these things or, that. And there's even some people that sit there and say like for 3 hours, the most you can focus on something is like 3 hours. After 3 hours, you got to go to something else. What do you think about that?
It just depends, man. For me, every 3 hours, I think everybody's attention span is different. I try to do my task that is the most important. And I hate to say it, man. I do it kind of how I did it in ALS, man. I structure what is important and down to what is not important, what needs to get done first and what is optimal to get done. And then I go down from there, right? That's just what I do. And if it takes nothing I should do should take most of my day, if that makes any sense. Unless we're talking to taxes or something like that, then that will take a little bit more time than I'm willing to give.
So when you're going over those whiteboards, right? That whiteboard, how long have you been doing it, and how long did it take you to figure out that is what makes you work?
Man, I've been having a whiteboard since the beginning. Before like the apps and everything like that, the vision board. You got to understand some of these boards, they turn into things. Firstly, like this, let's just take our fitness goal. Like, and this is how it worked for me. I used to when I was competing, it started off by putting the people I was competing against on my mirror, right? And I would write things on there, like just for me, just for me, right? Because I'm super competitive. I am competitive as hell, right? That would turn into a book of things, right? Of writing down, just keep writing down. But then as I get more with business, you would take that same method of focus and transfer it from business, and you still keep writing things down. That's because that's how I remember. And then I would transfer that, so it's the first thing I see in the morning when I walk in here, right? So I do have like things that need to get done importantly. As soon as I walk in here, this is my task to do. When it's done, I'm one of those people, as soon as it's done, I have to get up physically and wipe it off so I feel accomplished. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So I have to be like, okay, this is gone. The energy's gone, and I can just keep going. But it also keeps me in this focus because I have to keep moving. I'm just one of those people too.
Right. Yeah. One thing that I've been doing lately, it's like Monday.com, just because I'm more technology. Like I like seeing things. I like typing things, but I like being able to have it on my computer, go to my phone. I like being that kind of person. So I've been doing the same thing where it's like, hey, and I have a priority list, and my priority list is kind of based on what it was in the military. What's going to get me in trouble? Like, and that's my top priority. What's going to get me yelled at? If no one's going to know about it, like blow. We'll do that later. So what do you think about priorities? Do you have a priority list on yours, or do you rack and stack them?
My priority for me, hell yeah. My priority list always number one is myself. Straight up. As soon as I wake up, it's myself, unless somebody, little person's up, you know what I mean? And then after that, everybody else. If that makes any sense. Because I am in a position where everybody needs me in some sort of way. Right. And I just got to be prepared for who's first. But I have to come first for who's next. Does that make sense?
Well, I think, like when you're talking about waking up at 4:30, you're at the gym at a certain time frame. Like the people that like no one else is, normally everyone's asleep still. And that's really like, when we're talking about, chasing time, that's really the amount of time you have before the world wakes up. And when it wakes up, it wakes up. Yeah. And so what do you think about that? Like that setting yourself up for success before the wave of the day starts?
I think that's super important, man. There's so much, put it this way. There's so much you can get done. If you're a person waking up at 8 o'clock, right? And most successful entrepreneurs are up at before 6 o'clock straight up. You can get so much done within that, and within those 2 or 3 hours, because you got to think about it. Nobody's up, nobody's responding to you, right? And I'm super focused in the morning. I'm just like the most focused bright and early in the morning.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think like, for me, I wake up at 4:59, and that for me is an actual, it's a challenge. Like it's like me versus me. Like the weak me wakes up at 5. The person I want to become wakes up at 4:59. So we're just trying to be that much better. That's my my mental thing. But I wake up at that time frame, get everything ready, go to the gym, take my daughter to school if I'm being good on there, cut my hair Mondays and Fridays, and then 8 o'clock we sit down and we got to take a shower, but we also got to start getting ready for options trading. And so by 9 o'clock, before I even start my other job, my main job, I've done all these things to just get that momentum going forward. Right. What do you think about the momentum going forward to the day?
Super important. Super important. That kind of goes into like seizing the day, seizing the opportunity. Right. And especially I like your process because that kind of gets your ball rolling, if that makes any sense. Right. And it makes you feel like I like it because you're accomplishing things and already building your confidence for the day. That makes any sense, right? Yeah. So and I think that's great. Now, I do like that, but then I have to ask you, what do you do if something's off? Right? What if you can't catch that options that 9 o'clock options trade? Is your day off, or do you just continue to like still have that momentum?
So that actually happened Monday. So Monday work happened. I had to go shoot videos in another city, right? So I had to go to Midland, Texas, and go shoot. We have a property, it's 3 million. So anyone wants to buy something for 3 million, let me know. It's land. Okay. Anyways, no, but so I had to leave by like 7:45. I was supposed to be ready for. So that means I don't take my daughters to the gym. That means no haircut. That means no options trading because we're on the road. Yeah. So I sit there and say, okay, number one report, working out. Okay, that's done. Everything else is like cutting my hair, options trading. Those things are great to have, but I've already like have them in my mind that those are the first things to go. Those are negotiable. We're out. But working out is non-negotiable, and that's why I call it a non-negotiable.
Okay. So I think that's pretty dope. See, mine is like, man, let's take this. Like I have my set schedule, right? But then let's throw a wrench in there. Okay, now we're in a deal with a house.
Mm-hmm.
And you already know that's already start. That is something important that has to kick off. Fuck, I got to get in touch with Juan in the morning.
Right.
You know, I have to do this. You have to be, I think for that, and then in the time management, you got to be ready to pivot. You got to be ready to let, I love the fact that you're ready to let some things go. And I think some people just can't accept that. They look at it more as a failure thing than as of, hey, this is just not important. So the point of feeling like I failed creates the more stress that's not necessarily like you're creating something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? That makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, I really do agree with that thing. I think, like, you know, like I said, for me, the working out has to be, because, like, just like you, like, I got to take care of myself. And
100%.
part of me waking up in the morning is, like, I have the algorithm with Instagram to this point where when I listen to the videos, they're all motivation. So I'll just sit down, drink my protein shake in the morning, and it's just like, go get it, do these people, go hustle hard. Hey, if you want to work out, be the, you know what I mean, that type of thing. And I think that's just as important working out for me is getting that. But if someone was like, hey, we got to leave at 6, I have to sit there and say, okay, cool. Like, am I going to go to bed super early so I can wake up? Or what kind of cardio session? What can I move my workout? Even within my workouts, I know I have at least 30 minutes that I could move around and be like, okay, I guess today is just pure cardio, but I got to get moving. I got to do something. Yeah. What do you think about that? Like saying, even if it came down to it, like just, I'm going to move my time up to work out. I'll get less sleep, but working out still there.
I mean, honestly, you got to just do, like I said, you got to chase it, man. You got to do what you got to do to take care of yourself. You know, I'm just a firm fucking believer in that. And if you don't, you're going to pay the price. Your productivity will pay the price. You'll probably fall back into old habits. You know, the stress builds up. You don't have no relief from it. So now you're back to drinking. Now you're back to doing something else that you used to do. Now you're falling back into your old pitfall because you can't step it up or just take a step back and be like, this needs to go, that needs to go. That's not important.
Okay.
You know, or just let me get 4 extra hours. Okay. Yeah. I sleep 8 hours. Yeah. Maybe need to cut this to 5 for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, speaking about that, when you're talking about your sleep, we know you're super busy. How much sleep are you getting?
Ooh, man. 4 to 6 minimum. You know, I'm just one of those people naturally. I can't sleep over 6 hours. Like it's never happening. I think just being in the military and always getting, and then just doing all those hours of just 4 hours, 6 hours, you know, whatever. Cause then you had to train late. Like for me, if I train in the evening time, I can't go to sleep cause I'm all like jacked on pre-workout in life. Even if I do work out at 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm still like, you know, like I don't like that, you know. So I don't sleep, you know. So about 4 hours, 6 hours is good for me. How my schedule usually goes, I go about a good 3 months, it's hardcore, sometimes even 3 hours, right? And I'm fine. And then I would crash. For 12 hours and then my body would do it all over again.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that is because, like, I know you do that. I have, like, talked to you where sometimes you just dip out for, like, it's like, man, and you pick up right where you left off. I was like, sorry, I just passed out. Yeah. And the reason why I mention those things is because, you know, like for me personally, I need about 7 to 7.5 hours. 8, I get lazy the next day because I feel too rested. If I do multiple 6, which I am doing now, like, it's not as easy to wake up. Like, I have to, like, you know, boom, but I can still manage. When I get 5.5, 2, and like, and the reason why I'm talking about this is you have to know what you can work on. Like, I think you have to play, like, how do I do on 4 hours? How do I do on 5? And even what you mentioned, I know at some point I'm going to go here and then I'm going to have a real quick dip. I'm going to be out for whatever. So if something doesn't get accomplished that day, you're okay knowing, because you know this is part of the schedule, right? Yeah,
100%, man. I just know myself, and dude, you can usually feel that exhaustion coming. You know what I mean? And it's usually when I feel like I'm getting exhausted, I really just shut it down. I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm not answering anything. I know I need the rest, but that's part of me just being aware of what's going on with me, and just, you know, and just it's all about awareness. And everybody needs to stop thinking like, hey, you have to have this amount of sleep to feel optimal. No, that's bullshit. Everybody is totally different. If I got 8 hours of sleep, I'll be groggy as shit and miserable all the time. I do not like that. You know? So yeah. And then my day's off because I'm like, damn, I feel like now I have to make up all the fucking, you know, and then, no, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, like I said, I've done 10, 12 hours, but there has to be something like I went down hard and I just didn't wake up. Like it has to be that for me, because the same thing, if I know I am purposely, intentionally slept too long, I feel lazy. It's like, man, there's so much more, because normally when you sleep 10, 12 hours, you're not waking up at 6 a.m. still. You're waking up at like 10, 12, and it's nice to do it, right?
Yeah. It's good. It's good, like, once in a while to, like, okay, I have nothing, I can sleep in a little bit. But even when I don't have anything to do, which is even rare, I still wake up. I still do my meditation and stuff like that, because I love meditating first thing in the morning, right? I think, like, or even when I get back from the gym, as long as it's not like light outside still, I like that. Or catching the sun come up, I love that. And now that it's warm outside, I can go meditate outside. I enjoy those things, and I enjoy my quiet mornings. I actually look forward to the morning more than anything, because nobody is talking. Right? It's just me that I can actually enjoy just for a couple hours.
Yeah. And, like you're mentioning with meditation, and you're coming back and you're becoming more present, do you think, even if like, let's say you just couldn't meditate, but you have 5 minutes, do you feel like that, okay, cool, that gives me something, but doing it is just not worth, I have to do at least a couple minutes?
No, if I can't meditate that day, or that morning, I still would either be outside. Just my mind just wouldn't be where the work is, if that makes any sense. Right? I try to, you don't have to sit there and meditate and, like, on the floor or whatever like that. Sometimes I'll sit back at my desk and I'll turn, like, meditation music on, right? Or I'll just turn some meditation music on while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, to just make me just chill. I turn a certain frequency on, just to make me just get a little bit grounded before I start my day off, But for me, a lot of times, like, for example, it's Thursday, I woke up, I was amped up to go to the gym, right? And my mornings, it consists of sneaking out of my room, not waking up a 2-year-old. You know what I mean? Right. So here I am about to leave. I usually try to get to the gym about 5:15, 5:30, right? Man, I'm about to open the door. All I hear is dada, and it's already 5. Man, I'm like, what do you do? I'm fully dressed. So yeah, it just sometimes those things happen, man, and I had to go to the gym a little bit later, but that threw me off. Even that little hour that I was adjusted to, it threw my whole day off. The time savings thing, daylight savings, holy crap, what was I off a whole week from that? You know, so just very minute changes can drastically change anything. You got to be ready for it.
Now, you had mentioned last week about, if you work a 9 to 5, owning your own gym. Now, you go to a gym, right? What does that do for you? Does that travel? What do you do with that travel time? Because you are using that travel time. Are you using that effectively or anything like that?
Yeah, man. Actually, sometimes, like, lately, it's just been quiet, right? I don't like listen to music or nothing like that when I drive. I actually enjoy quietness, or sometimes lately, like, y'all about to get me back on my Blink list. I love listening to Blink list, on the way, like listening to a book or listen to something, some powerful, whatever, and meditation music is good. Or sometimes I may listen to some ratchet ass shit. It just depends on what I'm at. But I just know whatever I'm doing on those drives, it is solely me, and I'm in that me awareness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So is there, like, right to say that, when you're driving, when you're doing everything, pretty much everything you're doing is intentional. You're intentional with your time?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. You have to be. If you're not using your time wisely, it's negligence. It's negligence, and you really don't have any excuses. It really just comes down to your decision. You make a decision not to do something. So it's not that you don't have it. You just made a decision not to do it.
And so when we're talking about reading books, you're still learning random, like, you've gone into, start learning new things on crypto, but you still got to learn real estate, and I know you're still looking at everything else. Where do you find the time to read and get knowledge?
Oh man, dude. On the stool. You know, no bull, man. Any chance, like I said, anytime, any chance I can. I even shoot y'all stuff when I'm like in it. I'm like boom, boom, boom. You know, I shoot it to the group. You know, sometimes you won't hear from me, and then you get like some random article, you
Right.
know, of like some relevant things going on. But man, on it, just anytime I can. Like I would rather. I don't even know, like my time, any time that I have to myself, I do it in some productive way, or I take it and I be selfish for myself, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
you're pretty much like, you're clawing at it, right? Like, cause you still have to get knowledge, right? You still have to get there. So you're just clawing at okay, I got 5 minutes. I can at least read an
Yeah.
article, or I can, cause the reason why I say that is like what I used to do when I was in Japan is because I would go to the gym on the Marine base, and I would, as I was getting ready, have headphones in and listen to a book. So as you're shaving, you're getting dressed, you're doing all those things, you're listening to a book. Now I'm here at the house. I have a home gym. That time has gotten so much smaller because I don't have to drive anymore.
Yeah.
But what I like to do though is kind of as I'm getting ready in the morning, just have it on. No one else is around me, but having that stuff on is what I found is when you're doing something that doesn't require a lot of thought. You know, like you get ready every day, so you know exactly what you're doing. You're not shaving your face. You've had this for a while, so whatever you do is normal. I found that if you get to that point where you can do tasks that are kind of on autopilot, you can at least listen to a book and kind of have that 5, 10, 15 minutes.
100%. 100%. That has to be like the willingness. So let's say somebody's like, hey, I'm just going to try to listen to a book, knowing that they're really not into it. They really don't want to listen to the book. They're forcing themselves to listen to the book. It's going to feel miserable. Right. So I would say if you're going to listen to something, listen to something at first something you're interested in, just to get started. So you'll be receptive. So you got to start practicing being receptive in the morning. Right. Because you can, like you said, you can be on autopilot and people can listen to a book and still be on autopilot and not hear a goddamn thing what the hell that person just said. You know what I mean? So, that's just what I think.
So, we're talking about this, and as we start winding everything down right now, what are some of the challenges you had when you first started with stealing time, chasing it, time management, to now the problems that you have to do? Because they have to be different, right?
Oh, man, drastically. I tell you what, my first one is my attitude, right? When I first started, I had excuses, right? Man, I had to kick them shits out the door, man. I had to kick them shits out the door because after a while, once you run out of excuses, you start looking at yourself, right? You start looking at yourself and you just start thinking, what's not fucking working? What can I do differently? Right? And so that right there, I've totally changed. That's totally changed, right? That mindset. So now I don't have excuses. It's what can I do better? What can I improve on? That's one of the things. Writing down everything. What I have started to do more frequently is because I always walk around with my bows, but I keep forgetting you can just touch this thing and just say schedule and just da 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 da, right? So I started doing that a lot more and using, because I am a tech guy, so I started using more of my scheduling tech stuff for stuff like that, just trying to get in the habit of just for scheduling, like, hey, meeting with Jonathan today, or Suave wants to talk to you. It's little things like that, so I don't forget. Because, man, it's so funny. We're talking about time management, chasing time, and here I am was like, I'm gonna get started in 15 minutes, right? I was like, I'm gonna get dressed. That was like 30 minutes, hour ago. You know what I mean? All because somebody had a poopy diaper, misattitude, and don't want to do anything. So we had a parent, so we had a parent. So it's just funny how you just got to manage that and just be on your toes to switch things at a dime and don't complain about it.
Yeah. And, even while I was waiting on you, right? So I'm sitting there saying, okay, cool. What am I doing? All right. Then I have another podcast. I'm getting that one ready out there. We're just doing things. And I think, that's why, like, if you're like, hey, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do something else because I got so much amount of time and I want to spend time with the family just like you do. All right, cool. If we're waiting, then we got to do something else. We can do two things at one time. I can wait for someone to hop in and I can just go back to what I'm doing. And then you're like, hey, I'm in, we switch over and we're here. And so, like, you're having to parent. That's probably the thing that is becoming your biggest, like you're saying, you can't control that.
Yeah. Graduation's coming, right? Got a kid graduating, right? And it's just different, you know. A lot of people's like, man, how you doing all this stuff, you know? I'm like, this ain't my first time being a single parent, you know. I did this in Japan. That was tough when you ain't got nobody to help you. You know how like over there, you know, you just kind of like stranded on your own. But this ain't my first time doing it. But again, I dropped everything, no hesitation, on a fucking dime, right? And still prospered out of all this stuff and got into new things while I was sitting down with, you know, just had time to dig into other things. Yeah, our schedule is still chaotic, right? But it has a big structure to it. Any single parents out there know that like scheduling is everything, right? And then not even to mention the extra activities with cheerleading, taking somebody to work, picking up cheerleading, picking up somebody from work, right? It's never stopping for me, but I'm still getting it done. Clients are still my number one set. And yeah, man. And everybody knows, like, I tell them, hey, just cause I'm busy, I don't give a fuck. I'm still here for you. You know, right. Like my busy has nothing to do with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, you know, there's sometimes where I know when you're talking, you're not like, when you don't respond, it's not because it's malicious or any of those things, just because I got other things to do. And I'm pretty sure you have a time that says, okay, I got 30 minutes. Let me go ahead and handle some emails. And so I think I think people, and like, that's what I'm facing with now. That's one of the things that I'm facing with right now is, again, I read the 4-Hour Work Week, and I was sitting there, you know, like, and I told I put too much personally and professionally on my plate, but more importantly, I'm so quick to respond. You know, I was working on a video on Friday, and then our accountant hit us up and says that. So I dropped everything, talked to the accountant, got everything done, and then tried to start the video all over again, and I ran out of time. Yeah. Versus sitting there saying, like, I can hit that email up, it's a really quick response, or I can go do that after I'm done here. But I wasted so much time starting, stopping, and then sitting there looking around being like, what do I do now? And I have 4 other projects that are incomplete. And now do you pick them? You know what I mean? And so I think that's also something to note, is kind of having, I don't know if it's discipline, but kind of just, hey man, they're fine.
Don't compromise your time. Don't compromise your time, right? That's just what it is. And everybody else wouldn't compromise their time. I mean, I find like a lot of people, when they get off work, they're not answering their work phone anymore, right? Because they're not compromising it. But a lot of people expect you to, but you need to hold them to that same standard. Like, no, like, this is my time. This is my schedule. You know, this is how I respond to stuff, and do it like that. You know, I need the same respect you give to your doctors. He sells you 24 hours. You'll get like, you don't see you blowing that dude's phone up, you know, or your dentist, you know. So you got to demand the same respect. And I think people just forget that. But also you got to have that respect for yourself as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to talk about this. I really wanted to talk about it because when you said it last week, man, I even hit you up. I was like, dude, like, that really spoke to me in a sense, because like, that's my personal issue right now. Is I know I got 24 hours, and I'm under the thing of like, I will run for 20 or 18 of those, because that's the sleep we're getting. Yeah. But it's like, but now I'm getting ineffective. I'm ineffective with my time, because now I'm just standing around being like, hey, I'm tired. I'm just all over the place. And I got a project coming up. And so one thing we did, we kind of just went there and was like, okay, cool. We'll hire that out. What do you think about that? I want that to be the last thing. What do you think about hiring people to help you on tasks that you don't maybe need to be involved in?
Man, hiring people. I mean, I'm doing that in the process right now with the virtual assistant. And she's been awesome. I'd like to give her more tasks, but I've done that too, man. And it's like the old saying, hard help is hard to come by, you know? Good help is hard to come by. Good people is hard to come by. And that's just what it is, man. And some people are just scared to let it go, right? And not trusting people, or sometimes people just done that and just got burnt a lot of times and trying to do that, you know. It's just a very sticky thing for entrepreneurs. But you're gonna, at some point of time, you're gonna have to create an olive branch. You know.
Well, thank you, brother, for doing this one, man. Like I said, we'll have another one next week. But really, I thought that was really special to talk about these things. I think this is. It don't matter if it's fitness. It don't matter if it's. I think everyone has problems with time. So with that one, man, thanks for that, for doing that. Is there anything else, maybe a little trick or a little hack that we can end with?
Use your what's those things? The things that talk, whatever Android or Apple, sorry, just use that a lot to start talking to your phone. And I think that's really helped out a lot. Just it creates, you can do it instantly right there as soon as you find out something. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again, brother.
No problem, man. Let's do it.